Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Scarface clips. Couldn't find any setups to trade today. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I haven't found anything either. Rhino, how's it going, bro? You the same guy that used to be Rhino and BTG back in the day? Yeah, just get a few more, 5 minutes or so, just to let people come in. I should be more organized and let the stream or link it a little bit earlier and then let people come in, but I was running behind schedule. Yeah, that's me. Ah, nice. Good to see you still around, mate. Blast from the past, hey? Everything I do, the way I look at the charts is still the same as back in the BTG days. How are you finding things at the moment? How are you all of you finding things at the moment? Okay, a few more minutes. People are rolling in, but not saying hi. Say hi. Dylan says bye. Hey, that's not fair. That's the complete opposite of what I said. All right, so what we're going to do in a minute, hello Hover, I think I said that right. What we'll do on this stream is we're going to run through Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, basically just following on from what I said this morning in my video. Now that there's been a bit more price action developed, we can kind of see more of what we can expect going forward in the week, because obviously my video first thing in the morning in London session is following on from the weekend price action in the Asian session, which normally on a Monday morning isn't that great. So this stream normally is a little bit better and we can see what has developed over the course of the day. So just give it literally 2 more minutes and then we'll jump in. And then we'll also look at any crypto coins that you want me to chart or, have a little gander and chat about. XZ, hello mate, Hover. I'm gonna repeat some of the stuff that I had in my video from this morning, just to, oh shit, what happened there? Reiterate some stuff, but the stream's bitrate. Okay, I need to sort that out. Sorry, the screen just flashed for some reason. Yeah, so I'm going to go over some of the stuff that I spoke about in the video this morning. So if you've watched that, you'll see a little bit of a conclusion to some of those things. If you haven't, then that's fine. Right, Richard's here. Hello, Richard. Whenever you move on to the section of your stream where you're checking out alts, you might as well check out that one I DM you about yesterday. Yeah, okay. I can't remember what it is at the top of my head, but anyway, let's jump into it because there's people rolling in now. So I'm just going to jump from the. I don't think I need to do daily. All of the higher time frame stuff and the bias for that is pretty obvious. And I did cover that in the video this morning. But what I really want to talk about is today's price action. So obviously from this point on H4, we have a high that gets put in here. And we have a nice little level sitting on that, but that's just kind of our map for where things are. If we just make the chart bigger and zoom in on that, we have a really clean range like that price is kind of respecting. So it moves to the upside, puts in the range, drops back down into the range, but can't break to the downside. And then it's put in a higher high, and then a higher low, and then a higher high. And then it comes down and puts in another higher low, and then another higher low in the context of overall this. So it's kind of going really sideways. It's not really clean in terms of like, sometimes you'll see things range, but they may be hanging out at the top of the range and then rip into the upside. This is just literally going sideways. So it's not really given much of an idea of what it wants to do yet. So that kind of favors sitting on your hands a little bit more. So now let's jump on to H1 and we can see the picture a little bit cleaner. So when this dropped down below this H4 range, it pushed into this demand zone here. Like that's the stuff you can't see on that on a higher time frame. And I put a post up on X about this, about how doing a top-down analysis is really important, because you can see these types of levels then that don't appear on the higher time frames. And you can drill this all the way down to M1. You can see here though, like in this big candle, if you drill down, there's not going to be much information at this point. So this is the level which is essentially holding up all of this. So price comes down, tests it, and then starts pushing up. And reading the story of what it's doing, this is the sell-off that takes out all of these lows. So this is the key level. And then price has basically bounced from this continuation pattern, moved to the upside, puts in a higher low on a retrace, and then takes out the high. And it's now more of a reaction to it in a negative way than what we'd actually like to see for a bullish case. So it's taken out this low here, and then it's kind of bounced from this low until it gets taken out, but had no closes below this low. And this is where the buying took place. If I just zoom in a little bit to make that a bit cleaner. After the bounce from this level, we have this high here that doesn't get respected. And this is where the buying took place to push up above this high and ultimately come and test this level out. So this is kind of your line in the sand at the moment. And I mean, it's ripping down to it, which we'll look at on a lower time frame. So this is a key level for me because it's essentially held up all of this price action, and it's not looking good at the moment. And you can see it's wicked it once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times and closed back above it every single time. I'm a bit surprised, if I'm honest, that it's coming all the way back down here. I thought once it was going to take out this high, so it bounces from here and takes it out. I thought this strength was going to continue, but I think it just wants to chop sideways a little bit more. May even come down and retest here, because even though it has bounced from this level, and then the whole level really is like that, even though it's bounced from this level, it hasn't taken the extreme of it, which is essentially where the best orders are, or the biggest orders are. So it may well come down here if it ends up breaking this level at 117k. Again, we'll look at the lower time frames in a moment just to get more of a picture, but the yellow line is the higher time frame range, so it's kind of coming back down to the lows of the range. And you can see, as well as this wick in the demand zone at this point here, is also bouncing off of the range low relatively cleanly. So I think what we might see is the lows of the range get faked, and then we move back up into the range. But it looks like it just wants to go sideways at the moment, even though it's kind of looking a bit shit and given a clear direction, which we can see on the lower time frames. In the context of like the overall structure, this isn't really confirming anything. It doesn't really confirm what it wants to do. So if we jump down to M15, and I'd said this morning on my video that this level was a key one. So if I just mark that, and we'll talk about it in a sec. So it's completely eaten through it. This level was the level after the bottom was found where price continues. So there's a lot of buying strength at this point. And then once it taken out this high here, a retest of this level was a really great entry. So whether you take that like this, where you literally enter at the bottom of the level and then put your stop below it and then target a couple R or whatever. Excuse me. I've been a bit sick. This was a really nice level, but it did do it very quickly and it didn't follow through, which is what I was quite surprised about. So it makes me think we're in for more chop, essentially. But on a retest of this level now, that it didn't really give an entry trigger for what I like to see. So on a reversal, I want to see price come down into a level, put in a high, put in a low, put in another high, put in a higher low, and then put in a higher high, and then I would enter there. But here we only really got price move up at this point, like that. So there was no entry for me, and even on the lower time frames, you can see there isn't really much consolidation at this level, just found a lot of strength. Whereas now, what it's doing is putting in a bit of a continuation pattern to the downside. So I would then mark this range, and I always want to trade ranges that are around key levels like this. This is where you're going to get the most movement. So you have the range here now at this key level, and what it's done is put the range in and test in the lows. And now we really want to see what it's going to be made of. If we see if it pushes back into the range and then closes back down below it and puts in a lower low and a lower high, you'd favor a short then. And if I was looking to short, again, it would be down to like this 115K level, which was the higher time frame key level, kind of bottom of the chain. But this also could just be a fake out. It could be, because like I said, this is a key level and the overall trend on the higher time frame is bullish. What it could do is put in like a couple of fake lows and then start to look a bit more bullish. So it's one of those things where you have to wait for the price action to develop. You can't really plan these things other than like, if scenario A, then I'll do this. If scenario B, then I'll do that. So I don't actually know what's going to happen here. I don't think anyone really knows what's going to happen here. But considering the choppy nature of the chart, I would expect this isn't going to just rip through. I would expect this to kind of retrace back into this range and then show more price action. Of course, I'm on stream now, so it's just about to go. But yeah, the couple of scenarios which I'm normally playing in my head, which I'm looking for to create a plan. One of them is to put in a lower high and then a lower low, and then something like that, and then you could short the flip of that. Or it may, push up and then just chop a bit and then not really look like wanting to drop, and then momentum to the upside. And then we could just confirm this is a fake out. So it really kind of depends on what the price action does on this time frame in terms of a plan. But at the moment, of course, it's taking this level out. It's now closing below. But usually when you see candles like this, you want to see the next candle after this one has closed. Well, not the current one, the previous one. After the previous one has closed, and it's only been like a minute, you want to see the next one, if you're bearish, following through. If it starts pushing back into the range and chopping sideways, it's not a good sign to be short until, again, there's like a follow through of the momentum. And then otherwise, you could get the sign from the market that like it's looking to push down. It's clear that it wants to push down. But as soon as it starts like trading back to the top side of the range and then maybe flips the mid range that holds, you can enter in on some on a long. But yeah, this should, if you're bearish, you want to see it drop, or maybe just one more test in the range before putting a lower low. But I would say the target for that, I wouldn't be like going for something like 100K, but there's going to be a lot of bids at this area down here. And I think that's a really key level. And if not, if that one doesn't hold, then, then you're looking down at this next key level, which was the continuation pattern, which broke the previous all-time high. So there's a big kind of important area there. And normally what I've seen when all-time highs get flipped, this is like more relevant in previous cycles where you have the all-time high, then you have the price flips around, and then it ends up breaking the high and then doing something like this where it flips off of the all-time high and then continues. So it could do something similar like that. But at the moment, the price action is probably a little bit more bearish than it is bullish. It looks like it might want to retrace this really big move that we've had like over the past month. But it probably needs to reload essentially. And you can look back to when Bitcoin flipped 20K back in 2020. It kind of did this, and then I'm pretty sure it did it again in the next cycle. So yeah, at the moment, unfortunately, there's not like a huge amount of information to go on other than, why does this always come up when I'm on my stream? There's not much information to go by other than it needs more candles. The chart needs to have more. But yeah, you know, like if I'm looking to continue this trend south, I don't want to see this candle on M5 flipping up. So yeah, that's a nice little plan if you're looking to trade still on the lower time frames now. But if you're looking to trade on the higher time frames, then there's just not enough information at this point. There's no interest in the market. If there was interest in the market, you wouldn't have like all this crappy sideways action. So it may be a boring week after all, unless it does kind of heat up and then we start seeing some momentum to the upside and some strong candles, which we haven't got at the moment. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. Right now, let's look at Ethereum and then we'll jump from the daily. So there's been like 1 billion green candles in a row, which is quite strange. You don't see that very often. So you would imagine at some point that it's going to have a retrace. And we've talked about this level on last week's live stream and last week's video and everything. It is an important level because this is where the sell, like we have the top, comes down, retraces, and it's this point here where essentially this entire swing originated from. So the selling started from there and it hasn't been retested until now. And it's absolutely ripped into it. So when you see this, it looks kind of exhausted. So if you're not in a position, if I'm just jumping down to H4 now, the bottom of the chain is this level here. Because what you can see is this low. Let me zoom in. This low here is a reaction from this. It's kind of like a little bit of an SR flip. So you would say this level here, and I'll just draw all of it because I just mark the extreme normally. That's the whole level. It's bounced off of the top of it. And then similarly, you can see the same thing here. So like the high has been put in, comes up, and then it flips the high in the exact same way it did this here, and then pushes up. So this is all one big structure as far as I'm concerned. And I'd be looking for, like if I'm not in this trade, if I'm not in Ethereum and I want the best, may not be realistic, but considering how hard it's pumped, it may not be the most realistic entry. But if you've got bids down here around 3,350, that's a pretty nice level to wait for, and you're going to get the best risk reward. If I'm trading this on M1, my bread and butter Forex trading, GBP USD, if I'm trading it on M1, I'm looking down to this level for an entry. I'm waiting for this to kind of do that, and then I'm going to look for my reversal pattern there. And particularly if this does retrace, everyone's going to start losing their minds, particularly just below the all-time high. But that's like the ultimate deep retrace level, which I'm not sure we're going to get, to be honest. But if you're not in a position, that is like, it comes down there, you're going, yeah, this is nice. On H1, let me just put a little bit of context in as well. So price at the top of this trend puts in a bit of a range, it gets faked out, and then it flips this level here. So we can look to see this on the lower time frame. So you can see reading the price action if you need to go down to a lower time frame. Just a tip for if you're doing a top-down analysis. If you see that like a little squiggle or something, that is going to be how this looks on the lower time frame. So even though we're on H1 now, this is maybe what M5 looks like. I hope that makes sense. So this is an important level because it continues the trend, but we can just see from marking it out that prices bounce from it, and we don't really need to keep it any more complicated than that. And then it comes into this range really strongly. I think, when was the 20th? Over the weekend. Yeah, kind of a little bit dull over the weekend. But remember when I said about Bitcoin just going sideways? This is trending, but it's kind of going sideways trending, if that makes sense. It's like saying bullish selling, but you can see, even though it's ranging, it's kind of got a bit of a direction in it, but Bitcoin doesn't at the moment anyway. So at the top of this range, we then have this demand zone here, which ultimately is where, again, it's the bottom of this chain here. You can see we have a big, strong push up, but this is the chain for the exact same reason what I've just talked about in the higher time frames. It's the level, it's the origin of the buying that took place to come and take out this key daily level. So whereas that previous level down here, it's probably a little bit unrealistic. This is the deepest level on H1 that you'd say, right, let's see if we can get down to it, and then maybe look for a reversal down there. That's a bit more realistic, it's a bit more probable, and it's also a really nice level for a risk reward. It's got a lot of confluence for it. It's the level that broke the sell-off, that key sell-off. It's at the top of this range as well after it faked the lows. It can't, this is, the market is telling you here, we can't go any lower and we're just going to push up. So this is a strong continuation level. It's been tapped once already here. So I would expect the lower extremes of it to get tested. So if it comes down, yeah, I'd be looking to potentially bid here or look for reversals at that point anyway. But it's pushed up today and it's kind of now broken some of the market structure. That could be it. You know, this is the end of the chain as well on M15. So this could just, because it is quite bullish, isn't it? It could just come and this is the range that it would be here. It could just come up range here and then push up like so. But if it doesn't, if it does come down to this level, I'll be looking for reversals down there. That would be a really lovely place, 3660 on it, H1. So yeah, that's Ethereum basically, and I would still be targeting the all-time high. There's no reason to be bearish on this. You know, like you've got to, when you see something ripping in your favor, you've got to let it breathe. You've got to trust it. A lot of people get fearful when, especially when they're running something in high profit, and they've seen something move up a ridiculous amount. They'll start saying things like it can't go any higher, it's got to fall back, and closing longs and trying to short, try and catch the retrace. There's no point in that. You just got to trust, and like if you see this, you should be looking to add if you're not in a position. But sorry, if you are in a position. If you're not in a position, I'd be looking for the deepest retrace that you can possibly get without changing the market structure. Because if it comes down here and then flips it, suddenly, like if the price action looks like that, you're then looking at maybe 320, because this is a key level. Then that basically changes the entire structure if it gets broken. So if you're bullish like I am, and I'm in a long position, I need this level to hold, and you could look to add there if you get the right type of price action. And the right type of price action for me, for continuations, is something really basic like this. And I put these videos on my channel about how to read price action trading and how to develop a strategy. If you've got a trend like this, you've got 1, 2 breaks of a range high, and then you can enter with a stop loss below the range. And that's essentially what you could have done on that candle here. Like that. And, you know, that ran for about 2.89 R, probably about 3 R. But I'd be looking for this type of pattern essentially down here, and that would be a reversal pattern. But that would confirm at that point that the reversal is kicking in as well. So on this time frame, it looks like it wants to go a bit deeper. On H1, you know, this is a really nice clean level. So we'll wait and see for that one. Right, so Solana next, and then we'll see what you guys are saying, and then if you want me to look at anything else. Okay, so I've covered this basically on every time I talk about Solana, so I'm going to run through it. I'm going to assume that people haven't heard it, because I don't want to assume people just watch my videos. Big low here, and that gets taken out, and then the sell-off that started that is at this point here. This is where, you know, the trend kicks in, and that sell-off also is a continuation after breaking this big low here. So it's a key level. So instead of bouncing off support, the selling kicks in, we see a retrace to it, and then it drops, and then ultimately this is where the origin of this little mini trend is that breaks the low. So this was a key level, and it did react, and the buying took place down here to come and break that level, gets retested, and then it pushes up higher. This is what I was expecting that M15 level on Bitcoin to do, by the way, similar to what has happened here on the daily on Solana, but it hasn't happened so far. So now we've taken out that retrace high, and we can see this little red candle here on the daily. I know on the lower time frames here, we've got some price action that's going to look something like this. And that's where we want to trade from, basically. So let's jump down to H4. Oops. And you can see that pattern now. So I'm just going to mark this level. So that's the high. So this is the demand zone, FTR, bull flag, range, continuation pattern, origin, whatever. But this is the information from the chart, okay? There. So price moves up, ranges, and then similar to what I just showed on that Ethereum trade, puts in a high, puts in a higher low or a low, and then puts in a high in line with the range, in line with the trend. And then at this point, instead of retracing back down into the range, the buying kicks in to continue the trend, and then ultimately comes and takes out this high. So this is a really nice level down here on H4 for a retrace, and maybe it just rips. I'm not too sure. But if it comes down there, similar to what I was just saying on Ethereum, this is a really nice area. And then if we look down on the hourly, we can see the range there. I mean, it's not a clean range. It's not something I'd look to trade personally. but price moves up, retraces, goes sideways, can't continue this trend, and then starts breaking to the upside, tests the range high, and then pushes up. So this is key information as well as this level. This is where the buying eventually took place. You know, you look at the information from the wicks, which it's trying to move down. Price is trying to move down, but it can't, and then it puts in this big bullish momentum, which takes out this high. So there's a lot of buying at this level. So if it comes back down to about 180, it's a nice place to look for reversals. And again, similar to what I was saying before, if it breaks that level, I mean, it's got the next level down here below, but it starts breaking market structure and it starts being a point where you can say this trend to the upside is over. So that would be a nice area, about 180 to 183 looking for. If you're not in something, looking to get into something, looking for a retrace down there, then looking for some reversal signs, and then going long, because I think this is going to go to all-time high. I can't see really why it wouldn't. It's been consolidating for like, wow, yeah, since February. So what's that, like 5 months? 25th of February. Yeah, about 5 months it's been ranging. It's now kind of breaking up. It may do something where it, you know, gives the signal. This is given the signal, retraces, and then pushes up. But all of this is empty space for me. Like, it's all a chain, like I was saying before. And the origin of that sell-off is there, which is the all-time high. So I think it's going to eat through here relatively simply, and then go for the all-time high. So yeah, what do you guys think? Are there any questions? Are there any charts you want me to have a look at? And yeah, anything else? And I'm going to take the opportunity to say as well, this stream is sponsored by Watt Exchange, which is what the charting on this, the platform. They're non-KYC, and they have a big airdrop in early 2026 in the style of hyperliquid. So if you did miss that, there's a good chance to get something very similar to that just by farming points, by trading on there. And if you use my referral link, you'll get half of what I get paid for you to be referred. So it's just money straight into your account, your trading account. So if you're on an exchange and you're trading crypto on an exchange at the moment, and you're not getting paid for the volume, I'll basically be giving you money as a kickback for signing up, which can pay for fees, particularly if you're, you know, got a decent size account, or can pay for like swaps and things like that for holding and funding. So yeah, that's just money straight into your trading account if you're interested in that. But yeah, in the description below, you can find the ref link, and it's really easy. You just connect the wallet and you're up and running in like 5 minutes. So yeah, any questions, anything else you want me to cover? Might as well check out that DM from yesterday. I can't remember what the chart was, so I'm going to look at my DMs. I'm having problems with my phone at the moment accessing my Twitter DMs. I'm not sure why. It just doesn't load. XRP and Fartcoin, John has asked. Yes, I can look at those too. Let me just double check this message from XZ. Yeah, see, it's just not loading. Okay, right, while it is loading, it's just doing that blue spinny thing. Let's look at XRP. $400, mate. It's going up to $400. All right, weekly. And I mean, there's not a huge amount of data on this, which is fine because we don't need to worry about that anyway, because we're not trading on weekly, because that's a bit boring. So there's the high. And then if we look down on the daily time frame, the high gets put in here's the support which was formed the support that formed to come push up and make these highs gets broken, and then we get a retrace and a sell-off basically here, which again comes down and makes new lows. So that's a key level here, which is also just a reaction to this zone here, which is why essentially, look, this is the kind of price action I always expect. If I say there's clear space or there's like just a load of mess that doesn't really matter, that's the kind of price action you expect to see. It's like you have a key level like so, and then you have a big gap, and then you have another key level. When price comes back up, it may struggle at the key level, but then basically rip through to the next key level. And that's essentially what this has done. So we can see down here, there's going to be some stuff on lower time frames, and we're going to have a range up here as well. So if we jump down to H4, the one thing I've never, ever traded XRP, and I've always thought that the chart doesn't look good, and I still stand by that. I don't think this, like, it's nice in the terms of it's trending to the upside, but it's not clean price action. Like Ethereum and Solana and Bitcoin, this is just not clean price action. I'm going to jump down to the hourly because we need more candles, basically. So just below that top that we discussed before, that key high, we can see this level. I'm going to sneeze 1 second. Sorry about that. I think I need to do another one, but we'll see. So this is the continuation pattern, the origin of the bind comes takes place to break this high, and then we get another level here, another continuation level, which does get broken. So price pushes up, instead of bouncing from here, takes it out, retraces, and then puts in this high. And you can see, if I just mark to the candle open, you can see that price reacts to it, comes up and then sells off, and now pushes back up above that high, and then puts in a range here, or a new continuation level. Yeah, I'm going to sneeze again. Sorry about that. Okay, so for me, if I'm trading this, I'd be looking for one of two things. I'd be looking for this range, basically just to go a bit sideways, put some, like a low in, a high, a higher low, and then another high, and then that'll give me a signal that it wants to go higher. That's my continuation idea, and I think that is somewhat likely considering that we've trended up, we've retraced and then gone sideways, broken out, and it's now kind of doing that. So yeah, I'd look for that pattern, something similar to that. It may even come up and then retrace down and then do something similar like that. Let me just move that drawing thing. It could do something like that. So this kind of pattern, this kind of price action behavior, or I'd be looking for it to drop down here and then put a reversal in, and because that would look like a bit of a head and shoulders fake out then, and that would be really nice, and I'd take that. Well, I don't know. I would just keep trailing my stop at every higher low because a lot of stuff are kind of now going to go into price discovery. So yeah, that's kind of one of the two things I would do on XRP, but it looks like it wants to keep pushing up. Looks like Trump's signature. It looks cooked. Oh, it's talking about Bitcoin, I think. Okay, Fartcoin. Does Fartcoin look like a proper breakout? It's holding above 1.56, but BTC seems to be making lower highs on the hourly. Okay, Fartcoin. 1 sec. Okay. So this is the daily. Right. Where are we looking then? So we have this big low. Let's start here. And then you have the sell-off which took it out. But that is a reaction to this. And there's probably something, this is all very scrappy here. So I'm sure there's something on the lower time frames. Pushes up above this high, this sell-off high. And we have, again, another chain. And the bottom of that chain is here. So you can see basically price comes down, and instead of being bearish, it puts in these two little highs here and this high. Sorry, one sec. On this support, you've got a cluster, you've got a continuation pattern, you've got a supply zone essentially. And then resting on it, you have this level. So instead of going south from this point, instead of reacting, because you've got a trend down and then it bases and then it retraces back to the supply zone, instead of going down, it finds strength and puts in a new high. But you can see all of this are just reactions to this bottom level. So along the way, pushes up, and then instead of reacting from this level, for example, this support fails and this support fails, all because it wants to come down here to the origin of the buying that took place to take out the highs. So now what it's done is it has come down to this level, and then the whole level is like so. Oops. That's the whole level. But like I said, I like to mark the extremes. So it's bounced off of it, and then it, instead of dropping back down and retesting it, it's come out and taken out these highs. So now we'd need to go down to a lower time frame to see a bit more of the picture. So here's the sell-off that came and took out this support. And then here's the origin of the buying. Here, you see, this stuff just works over and over and over. The buying took place here to come up and break this level, and then 1, 2 bounces off of it and price moves up. So that's a key level. You would say if this now gets flipped, it's a break in market structure and a move to the downside. So then comes up, takes out this high, and now is ranging again. So we're going to have to look down to the hourly for a bit more context. So again, similar, you've got this high, and you have at the bottom here, this is the origin of the buying that took place to come out and take that high. So you'd say probably if this is bullish, a retest of this level, you'd want to go long. If this is bullish, if this is going to keep going to the upside. And then just dropping down to M15, you can see the chain down there. So yeah, that kind of like 1.50 level should, it looks kind of like a line in the sand actually as well at this point, because you can see where price has topped here and basically drops down below the support. This is the support here, which you would say is probably like there. And you can see it gets broken and then it comes back up. So you would want this level to hold on a retest of it. But it looks like a nice place to go long, to be honest. And this is all a nice little chain as well. You can see on the break here, on the break of this support, you've got this supply zone, gets broken, puts in a demand zone or an origin level, and on a retest of it, it bounces price, makes new highs, and then has put this continuation in. So to me, this looks nice. Yeah, it looks pretty good. But if you're not in a position, that 1.5 level, it looks quite nice to bid. And then all-time highs, why not? So yeah, does it look like a proper breakout? Yeah, I think so. The way it's kind of consolidated and now it's curving up, it hasn't got the greatest of volumes, but it is a shit coin, a meme coin, sorry. So it's all obviously dependent on a lot of community interest. So yeah, I mean, obviously you can't tell it's going to push up or not, but it looks decent. And bonk. Okay. Right. Okay, so what have we got? We're on the daily. So I just picked stuff that basically, to start with, to get my bearings, just pick up stuff that stands out to me. This is a really big high, as you can see, but this is also a reaction to this level here. So this is a key level, and then you've got your next key level up here. This is basically a reaction to this. And you see this a lot with bear trends in crypto coins. And on a move up, they usually eat through these levels pretty simply. So it's, you know, it's pushed up. You can see the test of it here, and it pushes price from here all the way down here. You would then assume that this supply zone is basically taken out. It's got no resting orders. And then on a retest of it, because there's fewer orders at this level, the retrace hasn't been, or the drop down hasn't been anywhere like this just yet. Of course, this is the daily time frame, and the night is young, but it looks more like it's going to continue to the upside. So they're your key levels. And then again, same sort of thing. You have a supply zone here. You've got a big high. It's a reaction to this. Is that level important? Well, yeah, it is, because it's where the sell-off originated from to take out this big low. And it's also sitting on this support level here as well. So this was a key level, gets broken. And then you can see on the flip side of that, an origin level, decision point to come and break that high. So that's a key level. Would it come down there on the daily? I don't know. I don't trade meme coins, even though they do kind of tend to respect price action levels, because at the end of the day, price action is just a manifestation of people's emotions. Could it come back down there? Maybe. I'm not sure. There's a lot. Yeah, this is kind of scrappy, but at the end of this chain is down here. So maybe it wouldn't come down to this point, but sitting there, we have on H4 a nice FTR, a nice continuation pattern. But it's kind of gone sideways and putting in some higher highs and higher lows now. So we'll have to look on the hourly for a bit more context. And then, yeah, you've got this decision point here, which is basically where everything took place to come up and test this high. All the buying took place. It's bounced from it. And then here's the last, oops. There's the last high or retrace high before that level gets tested. So you can see now it's pushes up, can't get above it, pushes down, but doesn't want to go any lower, makes a higher high, makes a higher low, and now makes a higher high. So we've had a reaction off of this resistance up here. I would say it's probably likely it's going to come up and continue this trend. But on M15, sitting on that high as well, you've got this cluster here. And this is essentially where the buying took place to come up and test this level. And you can see it's just the decision point. It's come back down and bounced off of it, and it's now pushing up. I wouldn't want to go any lower than that, to be honest, because it's a meme coin. But it looks like it wants to continue up. It's putting in some, pretty nice base. It's a pretty nice support level that is holding everything up. Everything's going sideways and not continuing this trend. So I would say it looks like it's going to continue to the upside. But I wouldn't really rule out all of this. Considering where we are in the cycle, though, in the market cycle, I expect everything to kind of just go up now. We had this is where you think at this point, oh, is it going to break this resistance? It doesn't, but now it's pushing up for the next leg. So I think this is just going to continue up. Okay, does that help? Appreciate it. Thoughts and bonk. Yep, that's Richard. So John too, thanks. Ghost chart. Smash the like, guys. Yes. Also, go and smash the referral link to trade with Watt, and I will give you half of the money that I earn on your referral. And it's a nice platform as well. You've got it's non-KYC, and there's a big airdrop early next year in the style of hyperliquid. So could be a decent earner. That's great, Matt. Thank you. Was interested in your process. Appreciate it. Cool. Thanks, Richard. Right, guys, I'm going to call it there unless anyone's got any last minute requests. We're coming up to an hour now. So, yeah, my voice is getting a bit, I've run it a bit too much. I've got a sore throat as well. I've been a bit sick today. Definitely have a look. Yeah, give it a look. If you're trading crypto at the moment on a different exchange and you're not getting paid for the volume that you create on the exchange, if you sign up with my ref link, you'll get paid for the volume that you trade. You'll get half of the referral commissions, basically. Cool. So have a good one, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the stream. Hope you've learned something. And I will see you all next Monday. And then I'm sure we'll talk on X and wherever else, maybe YouTube comments, I guess. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and happy trading for the week.